Hey everyone, it's me, Nathan from Nathan's Way, and in this video I am going to kind of do something new and kind of do a shadow dive, which it's going to be me talking about some of the shadowy aspects in my life and how I cope with them. This is not like my self-love monthly updates. That is more of me doing a check-in. This is more diving into certain things that I find about myself that are not necessarily positive, but it's kind of going through and dissecting them. And I am thinking of in about talking about projection, what I project onto other people, or how I cope with different thoughts. So I have a hard time with projection, putting thoughts or feelings into, like, projecting thoughts and feelings onto other people or other things or just other tidbits. Like, um for example, I feel like my best friend, or one of my best friends, is doesn't actually like me, which is preposterous because I know that, well, the people who I consider close or my best friends, they do love me. They do care about me. But in my brain is I'm always worried in the back that there's something not quite, like, there's kind of like this underlying tone of lack of worthiness in my sense. Like, for me, it's more of a self-confidence thing. I feel I don't know where where the root of this comes from. If I could if I could dive down, it probably is rooted in some type of friendship breakdown. We were close best friends, and they probably distanced themselves and not wanted to be my friends. Like, some childhood playground stuff. I mean, that is probably where it stems from, because I remember being heartbroken as a kid a couple times, but I know that when we evolve, some of these little nitty gritty issues come up in different ways. It could be my lack of self confidence, me doubting myself all the time, me not really take the time to appreciate my self worth, because I know I have a lot of things that I do like, but it's a struggle to accept them about myself. So when I project something onto someone else, it's usually when I am stressed. Is probably when I haven't seen people in a while, or people haven't talked to me, like long periods of silence. And then I question if, like, one of my friends I haven't talked to in a month. I'm using her as an example because I mean, me and her have been close for 15 plus years, but me and my friend and haven't talked in a month up until recently. Now we're talking every day. And sometimes with that is I feel kind of burdensome. I reach out to them too much. I have friends that I really want to get close to, but I feel like I hound them and pester them, and then it becomes more of a very it becomes of it becomes very a toxic thought where I am overloading certain people. Well, because it couldn't be something as reasonable as they're busy. And it took me a while to really understand that people are busy. Like, people have lives, and it's not all about me. Like, with me, I tell my friends up front, listen, it's okay if you don't respond to me. I know you're busy. Eh, but it still gets to me where sometimes I don't want to reach out, and I sometimes wonder if I don't reach out, will they reach out? Like, am I even a blimp on their radar? And again, looking at it, it's all about my how I worth myself and how I worth my time. And there are some people that I've I have driven away because I've been too, like, I had to learn that happy medium of okay, it's okay to contact this person between this time and this time, but anywhere else it's not okay. Like, I have messed up in that, and I would consider myself clingy when I was younger and all that stuff. And I know life is a learning process, but sometimes certain aspects are harder to face. And how I'm dealing with this is basically taking it a step at a time and understanding that I could be projecting. And another another thing that happens around projection is putting emotion into stuff. Like, we all get the text. We all get like we all want to put emotion into texts or messages, and we can't, because something that sounds very harsh and blunt could be like them in a rush or them doing something. And I have literally called people up and it was like, I am so sorry, I didn't mean for, like, I didn't mean to say it this way and or that way. And like, I like, because I would catch myself of rereading stuff I wrote with emotion into it, and then they would respond similar, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I did not mean to send that the way it sounds, or listen, I'm so sorry, I messed up. And they could be talking about, oh, um like, one of my friends, my phone, the last phone I had literally had a crack down the middle, and you could barely take pictures. And I uploaded a whole bunch of pictures with my friends in his last visit, and this one friend and said something about not being in the picture, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to exclude you. Next time we definitely need to get a picture. And she's like, oh no, we joke about it all the time. Her phone's always broken. I'm like, okay. So, what is going on there? What is the communication between visualizing visualizing text and like translating it and putting it out there? I feel like a lot of this is about communication. I can because with my dyslexia and my with my dyslexia, it's always been hard for me to communicate via text or written language. And and I always I always see things like that. You know how some people say read between the lines? I read in between the lines that aren't even in there. And I feel like I've done better at communicating. I feel like I've done really well at communicating lately. But you gotta understand that at I have to understand that it's not this isn't just my world. I am living this world with a whole bunch of people, and communicating is a very important skill. And my social skills were never, they were never really that good. I had issues, a lot of issues that I've worked on. I've done really surprisingly well. I'm surprised at how far I came. And I know I need to keep going. And I feel like talking about this and putting it out there and saying, hey, listen, I can't I can't understand the barrier. I can't understand because I know I know that not everyone not everyone is mad at me. I've had to work hard on that, and that's a whole nother video. Oh, I had to work hard to understand that, and I still got a lot to go. And so, what am I going to be doing in the future? Well, I think the skills that I have been doing, like actually reaching out and communicating with people, is good, and especially with the pandemic. Like, pick up that phone instead of a text and really get on a soul level with your close friends and be like, listen, if I am ever out of line or you think I'm out of line, please bring it to me. Because most of the time, I, I, most of the time, I don't realize I either put my foot in my mouth or said the wrong thing or communicated something wrong because it's hard for me to translate sometimes. That is another reason why I haven't stepped up and like reached out to different community members to really do really do a like do talks or discussions because I'm like because of the communication barrier. And I always had it in my brain that I wanted to travel because I always wanted to sit down with people and like do do talks like what I did with Colleen, or the one time where me and Ember just went off and had fun in Atlanta. But this world is really crazy right now, and I feel like communicating and learning how to communicate and learning your communication needs is very important. Communicate to others that uh, you what you need with your communications and build up this trust where it's unwavering, because it's taken me forever to build it. And I know like I I put images in my head of like my friends I haven't talked to in a year to a month and wondering why they haven't contacted me or why I haven't contacted them, or like what language barrier, what invisible language barrier is in there that I'm putting thoughts and ideas into. Because we can make up a whole story about how like I've literally done this, how oh my last interaction with them wasn't that positive. We left we I mean we enjoyed each other's company, but it was very like the minorest thing, like oh I accidentally dropped something on the floor, or I tripped over something, like hey, that is why they don't want to talk to me anymore. Like stupid things like that. Or I build I build up this world where I tripped and the whole downstairs apartment and had something break, and then they like I've literally built stories on this, probably because of my like huge imagination. But I used to have a tendency back way back then when I used to do that, where I would build up these stupid long scenarios and stories where it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, I'm sorry I tripped or dropped that glass of water or broke that glass. I didn't mean to. How can I help you? Like, can I get you a new one? And it is okay. Like, it is okay to take a step back and figure out how these stories, like how these stories that you projected into a situation is non-existent. And with that, I literally asked, like, every time where I built up this long lengthy story, I would ask them, I'm like, listen, it's possibly nothing, but I'm really sorry I broke that glass or I fell. Oh, is that why we haven't talked in a while? And 99% of the time they're like, no, no, it's like, it's life. They have kids or they have jobs or they have a significant other. It's, oh, I hate that term, significant other. Just like partner. Uh, I really hate those terms. Sorry. That is, again, that's a whole nother rant. But with that is they have lives, and that is the one thing that keeps me grounded. They have lives, they have needs, they have feelings. They are in situations that, like, all I can do is ask if they need help. Like, ask, how can I help? How can I be there for you? Oh, like, how what do you need, aid, so I can be a better friend? Because everyone has lives. Everyone has lives. And one friend could be that way, far away that way. And another friend can be far away that way. But just because you're the distance and your one friend has like five different aspects of their life, like work, home, work, home, hobbies, kids, life. If doesn't mean that they don't want to exclude you, like they don't want you to be part of their life. It just means that they're busy, trying to like have their world their world their little thing. They're trying to figure out their life, and you're trying to figure out your life. And sometimes you can your life with all your things can sometimes meet, or sometimes they just go. So understanding that there are people, like, you have your own life, and you have your job, you have your family, you have your hobbies, like you, and all you can do is control what is in your circle. And what they can do is control what's in their circle. But sometimes circles can meet, circles can talk, circles can communicate, but at the end of each day, you're in your own circle. And that helped me a lot to understand. And and again, it's not that they don't want you part of their life, or in some cases I'm integral to certain people's lives, Aves. But understanding that just because someone's life is over here and your life is here doesn't mean like there is an invisible wall between. And understanding that is what has helped me a lot. I can only control myself. I can't control other people. And it's all like there are a lot of factors, a lot of different factors, and understanding those different factors means it's will be a lot easier not to project. So I know it kind of got a little rambly, but I think I got everything across that I wanted to. I might have to edit some of this down to a certain extent because I did think I talked a little bit in circles, but it's fine. It is fine. But if you like more of these shadow dives, shadow dive, yeah, I'm really feeling that term. These shadow dives, please consider subscribing, liking, and maybe hitting that little notifications bell right 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 down there for more updates and more videos. And hey, you'll get a little notification that I posted something, a little update. So make me part of your little notification thingy. Okay. Well, with all that being said, thank you for coming along on my journey with me. This is my way, Nathan's way. What, what's with this? Bye, everyone.